I'm Mark Stevens, and this is going to be the first of a series of videos that I'm doing to follow the caging of Ademo Freeman, a friend of mine he was on the show a few weeks ago talking about what was going on, and unfortunately he has been ordered to a 60-day incarceration in Manchester for statutory violations that were obviously not proven at the first trial, and it was in the second trial, and the reason why he was imprisoned is because the someone in the court, I think was deliberate. They sent him notification of the jury selection, the new trial date, to a fictitious address that doesn't exist. But they were able to get his address correct on the follow-up paperwork. So that's what leads me to believe it was deliberate. And the fact that they still put him in jail, even though it was clear the evidence proved that he had not gotten notification, they did it anyway. That leads me to believe that, of course, was. It was definitely not just a harmless error, because if it was, they wouldn't have put him in. They wouldn't have ordered him to be in a cage for 60 days. So what I'm doing is I mailed out a petition for a writ of habeas corpus to the New Hampshire court there in Manchester, and the Superior Court in Manchester. And the reason why I'm doing it is because Damo's a stand-up guy. He's an honest guy. He's a non-violent guy, and he's not been accused of doing anything violent. He doesn't deserve to be there. It's wrong, and I just do something that I can, something that I can do here. And what do I hope to accomplish with this? I think at the very least, what I'd like to be able to see happen, because I don't expect that I'm going to get more than one hearing out of this before they refuse to allow me to help the man anymore. But what I'd like to be able to see done is he's been ordered to be caged for 60 days. If we can just get him out in 20, 30, or 40, if we could just get him out in less time, I think we've accomplished something. But these issues that are something that Ademo knows well, and it's up, if they throw me off, they don't allow me to speak after the first hearing, like with Ian Freeman last year, then, he's free to do that, and at least the issues have been raised, and he can pick up the ball. But hopefully, I get at least the one hearing. So a little bit about this, the petition for writ of habeas corpus. For those who aren't aware, even though the judge was the one that ordered the incarceration, it is typically against the one who's actually holding Ademo or who happens to be incarcerated. So it's James O'Mara, the superintendent for the Hillsborough County Department of Corrections. And so here's some of the legal basis for that. Anybody can do it. It states that application for the writ shall be made by the Superior Court in the county in which the person is imprisoned, by a person so imprisoned or restrained, or by some person in his behalf. Obviously, you don't need a statute or a special thing to have you don't have to be an attorney to do that, and that's not what they wanted me to do last time. So at least in New Hampshire, they've acknowledged that you don't have to be a lawyer to do that. Statement of relevant facts is pretty simple. Ademo was forced to participate in court proceedings by men and women doing business as the, quote, state of New Hampshire. That's pretty obvious. All of them that did this to Ademo, every one of them was doing it in the name of the state of New Hampshire. Even if they were doing it under the city of Manchester or the county of Hillsborough, it's still a political subdivision of the state of New Hampshire. So you have a complaint that was filed by the plaintiff state, and the judge, William H. Lyons, forced Ademo to answer on behalf of the same plaintiff state. There's your conflict of interest. Of course, no evidence or testimony was given proving his presence within the plaintiff state and that the statute and laws were applicable to him. They just assumed that as a matter of procedure. So what I go through is that there was no factual and legal basis for the incarceration. I know I have to do this just in case it's going to be appealed. Either I do it or Ademo wants to do that. Missing the court date was the fault of the staff of the district court, not Ademo's. Due process requires notice and opportunity to defend. That's pretty basic. Putting a peaceful man in a cage because of a court error is not justice. It's disgraceful and cannot be justified. So whether you like Ademo or not, the fact is, no one in their right mind, if they're interested in justice and truth, is going to say, and they believe that the system is a system of justice, is going to say that you should be put in jail for a clerical error, for nothing more than a clerical error that was probably done on purpose. I want to jump through this quick because, of course, this is just, I'm going to do a series. I'm going to, of videos on this. There was no case, and the district court had acquired no jurisdiction. That's because the judicial power is restricted to the protection of rights, which we know is public relations. We know it's BS. The important thing here about jurisdiction is to point out really what it is factually. that the only jurisdiction District Court Judge William H. Lyons has over Ademo is his willingness to initiate and order violence against Ademo if he did not participate as ordered by Lyons himself. Of course, an arrest warrant ostensibly authorizes the use of deadly force to bring someone to court. And we had, in the Scottsdale City Court yesterday, you had some cops laughing at the idea that warrants for arrest actually involve deadly force. Well, obviously, they were very uncomfortable, hearing that. All other claims of jurisdiction are merely dictum with no factual support, obvious. The conflict of interest, William H. Lyons, the lawyer/judge ordering Ademo's incarceration, was acting on behalf of the plaintiff's state. That's pretty easy. Ademo was denied any semblance of a fair trial. There was no fair, impartial, and independent decision-maker, as Lyons forced Ademo to participate and answer a complaint filed on ostensibly on behalf of the plaintiff's state. I guess I missed that typo. Lyons cannot be independent while forcing Ademo to participate. That's pretty basic. I mean, in no amount of political spin can change that. He was not acting independently of the plaintiff's state, and any opinion to the contrary is just that. It's just a baseless opinion. Obviously, there's no evidence of presence within the plaintiff's state or city, that the state of New Hampshire, as well as the city of Manchester, are political and corporate. You can take that right from the Supreme Court. Here is another one, Van Brocklin versus Tennessee. The United States is a body politic and corporate, because it didn't exist prior to 1776. The people inhabiting and this is from the New Hampshire State Constitution, 1776 again. The people inhabiting the territory, see, the territory is separate, formerly called the province of New Hampshire, do hereby solemnly and mutually agree with each other to form themselves into a free, sovereign, and independent body politic or state. By the name of the state of New Hampshire, which is why I asked John Webb last year, who was a prosecutor in Keene, what does he mean when he says state of New Hampshire? Of course, we know that the city of Manchester is also a body politic and corporate. We also know that whoever files a response to this is going to do it in the name of the state of New Hampshire, and again, geographic areas don't hire lawyers and appear in court or make prayers for relief. So that's fairly standard, and of course there's no evidence the laws were applicable to Ademo. No facts were presented at the trial proving beyond a reasonable doubt that the laws of the plaintiff's state apply to Ademo at all. Now I'm going to do a separate video and talk about it on the show, where I spoke to a police officer in New Hampshire on Friday, yesterday, and asked him what evidence he had, what facts he had, proving beyond a reasonable doubt that my client was subject, or was that the laws of the state of New Hampshire were applicable to him. And not only did he not understand the question, but when I re-asked him, I said, what facts do you rely on to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the laws of the state of New Hampshire apply to my client? He says, I don't have any facts. Then again, he doesn't think he has to prove something like that, so that's the mindset. So, again, this is just the first of a series of videos we're going to be doing to follow this, and articles, and following, the Ademo's incarceration. Hopefully, we can get a hearing right away, and we'll be able to at the very least, be able to get Ademo out in less than the 60 days that he's been ordered to serve.